Hi everyone, MJ, aka Silver Moon Tarot and Astrology. I'm sorry for removing the Aries and Taurus videos, feeling it was not up to a standard that I strive for to help others. Plus my own personal energy being off, I felt it was best to take them down. My purpose for this channel is not the quantity, but the quality that is uploaded. Most, if I feel my energy is not in a good place, and it's best to do nothing. Okay, let's discuss what is happening with us at this time of the lunar eclipse in Taurus. For each of us, it will affect different areas of our lives, depending on the house in which it occurs. Let's begin on what was and where we are heading. Transformation. We have all been going through this from the time we were born. Change does happen throughout life. It just occurs at different times and can last many years. The question we must ask ourselves is the what, where, and how. The why is to force us into becoming better versions of ourselves in relationships and society on this planet that we share with others. In doing so, we must be good stewards and caretakers of the environment around us. This includes people, animals, resources, and earth. We all come into the world with nothing, and nothing leaves this world with us, not fame and fortune, family or friends, or food and possessions. Even our body remains behind to return to whence it came. Transformation is all about the authority, power, and control over only ourselves. Each of us is created differently but equally. We all have opinions, thoughts, and ideals how things should be, but it doesn't mean we have to agree. But by sharing and assisting each other, we can make the world a better place to live. After each transformation of our life, we are reborn into being a better person of our old self. There is a new beginning, a completeness that is going to take place, and it will only be the characteristics of love that will help us through to the end of our life as we know it. So I will go ahead now and start beginning to do the astrology and give the tarot cards that I see for the energy of each sign. I'll try and keep it simple. I'll try and stay focused on just the house of where that's coming from for each and every sign. So if you will hang with me today, we'll see how it goes. So let's begin for each sign. What's going to take place? Before I begin doing the astrology for each sign, I want to discuss the energies of the planets from the sun all the way through to Saturn for that day and what their energies will be. Saturn, which will be ruling the day because that will be on a Saturday. Saturn deals with where you learn to operate within the limitations of society, responsibility and rules, fears, obstructions, limitations, father, the teacher. Its energy will be one due to its resting. It doesn't have much energy. It is still retrograde. It will not go stationary to the 1st of November. Jupiter, which is the planet of a personal expansion process of your realm and horizons, this house brings good fortune and luck, the house of optimism, confidence, and pride. But its energy is going to be at a -5 because it too is retrograde. And it still has, I believe it's 63 days and 6 hours of retrograde to go before it goes direct. The next one will be Mars. Mars is about courage and the ability to take action, desire, and nature, and aggressive drives. Sign shows how you go out after values and survival. The house is where you concentrate this energy. So I'll be letting you know on each one of these. And Mars is going to be at an 8. Its energy is the highest of the whole day. It will be very intense. So Mars, we're going to have to be very careful about our ability to take action. Also questioning our desires and aggressive drives that we have. And also maybe check our values and how we're going to survive something at this time. And what are you really concentrating your energy toward there? The next one is the sun. Its energy will be a -5. It's all about our inner personal purpose, our inner drive and energy, the source of will and motivation, sense of confidence, strength, individuality, and creativity. And it will only be at a -5. So there won't be a whole lot of energy there to get something done. And it, like I said, it may be very aggressive that day because of Mars. It could be a lot of agitation of not being able to get things done. Venus, she'll be 0 degrees, but overnight between 1, and these are all my times, Eastern Standard Times, when I give you a time, you'd have to do for yourself on yours, between 1:07 a.m. to 2:12 a.m., she will drop to a -3. So your capacity to love and your values is what Venus is all about. The sign shows your attitudes and needs in love. House shows what you value most and attract to yourself. Refinement. Money can either be gained or lost during this time. The next one is Mercury. Mercury being the planet of the concrete and the conscious mind. The sign and house shows how and where you communicate and assimilate the results of your relationships. It's about reason and logic. And Mercury's going to be at a -5, so communication may not be good. The last thing we have is the moon. And the moon is how we express our purpose in everyday activities through our emotions, attitudes, habits, general moods, how you adapt to your environment. And it's also about the mother. And it will be at a +4 most of the early day up until in the evening, my time again, Eastern Standard Time. From 7:40 p.m. to 4:23 a.m., it will increase from a 4 to a 7 during those hours I just told you. 7:40 p.m. to 4:23 a.m. So when I talk about the houses and I say where this is, you can refer back to this to note that what each one and what it will be for you. Okay? I just want to go for that so we can go ahead and get that out of the way when I start showing what houses the lunar eclipse will be for each sign. All right. I also want to add to this that the moon in its energy being so high is because it's exalted in Taurus. But the ruler of this eclipse is going to be Venus. With Venus having the strength at 0 for most of the day into the early morning hours, like I said, those times I said, we will feel that need of in that relation with Venus about our capacity to love and our values and our attitude and needs in love. Be a focus there. And remember what I said about the house will show when the house that is going to be for each sign is what you value most and attract to yourself. Again, this could be dealing a lot with money and gains and loss. Okay? Because the opposition to that is going to be Scorpio. And Mars is going to be very, very intense there. The energy on this day will be intense about what we desire. So I'll talk about more on that when I get into each sign and how it will be for each sign. Okay, let's take a close look at where this lunar eclipse is going to take place. You can see here it's in this area with Russia and South Africa, or Africa. I don't know why I said South Africa. I guess I was thinking of South America. But it will be taking a lot going on over in this area. And we know what already is going on in this area. And remember I said about the energy of Mars being so intense and the war that's going on there. And these Arab nations and Israel and Egypt and this impact is going to, it's going to be really, really intense in this area. So our focus may be a lot toward what we hear of what's happening. But this eclipse is going to have this effect here. Now you can see as the bands, I hope you can see these pretty good, but as it goes out, that means there will be less effect or less visibility on this. Let's go over now. So let's look at where it starts in that area. and it will go straight over, and you can see it's doing the eclipse, and there's a little portion there, as you can see at the bottom, and as it goes over Africa, it will go back to its illumination again. Again, you see at the bottom right here, there will be that uh, darkness, more intense energy at the bottom of the moon. It'll just be touching it, but you can see in the area where it's taking place. And again, the bands, you can see how they lighten, will be the visibility of those areas of what can see. It's only going to touch in the United States, here in Canada, and part of South America. It will be intense somewhere. It can be in here, be seen really well. As far as the United States, it looks like it comes through that area of South Carolina up through this part up in here, where we'll see. You can do that. Sorry about that. Where what's occurring here. So I'll let you just kind of look at it for a minute and visualize it and see what is going on here. Okay, let's jump into Aries now. Aries, this lunar eclipse is going to happen in your second house. The second house being about values, feelings, self-worth, talent, heredity, social privileges and culture, background, possessions, security, earnings, ability, money, and it's going to be in this fixed sign. So with eclipses, we know that we need to release some things here. And like I said, the moon is going to be exalted here, and this eclipse is being ruled by Venus. Venus, with her trine over to Uranus, which Uranus at this time is at 17 degrees. So it is really about some sort of sudden, she wants to create this sudden change, sort of almost like a rebellion, a resistance to something here. But be cautious, I'll say this, even though trines are very easy, we can kind of get lost in our self-expression. And even though the trines bring ease and comfort, there can also be something missed here about, are we really having productivity here? Do we have a correct or a creative vision or insight to share to make a sudden change in something here? And remember what I said about Jupiter. Jupiter, not really with it being retrograde and Uranus being retrograde, what is it that may be missed here? Because sometimes trines to me make me feel like we get complacent because it just feels natural or easy, or maybe you will have that ability to express something here. But be cautious. I would say be cautious on this because of Pluto being in this change. And Pluto, as a matter of fact, is 23 degrees minus. So Pluto's not really, it has built its strength up for this transformation from the past to the future. Be cautious not to express such a sudden change that you're coming off maybe the wrong way. So prepare yourself to whatever you're trying to make a sudden change here in your house of values and money and your self-worth, that you don't hurt yourself by the way you express it, because it's going to be conjunct. The moon is in conjunction with, and when I say conjunction, it's about this spontaneous activity and sets things in motion. So you could set things in motion here to help in some way, maybe another person. But again, I want to throw caution to the wind because of Mars being so intense. And it's over there conjunct with Mercury. I mean, they're together. And the two energies, when they're combined in conjunction or conjunction that way, they're combining, these planets' energies are combining Mars and Mercury. So, and remember what I said about the energies of Mercury at a -5, Mars at an 8, but it increases. Or throughout the day, it'll be at 8. So you may have difficulty expressing what you want to express to the other person, of what they may have difficulty understanding what exactly it is you're trying to express here, or they can't comprehend it because their energy over there is so intense, or they're not able to express back to you what they need. So it's kind of that give and take here. And the transformation deals with things from the past, things maybe the way you used to do things and the way you try to express you're being more radical than normal. And the person's like, wow, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're saying here, because they're not, they don't maybe understand the way you're communicating it here, and that the way you might be trying to get their attention. Don't be too aggressive, because in your first house, you're going through things where something has not been maybe healthy in your life. You've gone through some suffering. You've gone through some trauma. And you may be saying, look, I'm going through a process of healing right now. And I need you to understand that I can't. Maybe you can't. You're not very optimistic because of Jupiter being retrograde. So I want to say, be very cautious how you try to express this to someone, because they may take it in a wrong way. And I'm not saying to be over emotional about it, but ground yourself, know what it is you truly want and need here, because there could be a loss here, or it could be a gain. It's going to be totally up to how you express what you feel. Because remember, Venus is about love, and it's how she needs that feeling. And the other person might be trying to express that to you, and maybe they're not coming off so good because it's oppositions. And remember, oppositions shows where we got to have capacity for awareness and objectivity. So maybe even if you go into a discussion with someone, is to say, hey, let's see if we can see each other's point of view here, because you're two different individuals. Help me to understand where you're coming from, but I need to express to you where I'm coming from. And this could probably help this a lot more, because right now, as far as love goes, it's difficult right now because of the inconjunction with Venus, to the trauma, to the healing, something about you. It's you, wounded, trauma you've gone through. And again, with that opposition, like I said, is the capacity for awareness and objectivity. And also with the conscious, being that with that awareness and that objectivity, being conscious of facing something in relationships by illumination. And the sun is there with that illumination. But remember, the energies are not quite as strong. I mean, the other person may be trying to really understand where you're coming from or see what you're trying to show them that they may need to see. And that's where the illumination. Don't let yourself, when it gets frustration, take a time out and breathe. It's going to be difficult. Even I'm having difficulty with communicating right now. And that is why I said it's not the quantity of videos I put out. I want the quality there. Okay? So search for peace and harmony and balance. Show you something here has really changed in your life, that you're trying to let go of maybe some trauma here that you've been through in love, or that being better at being a service to others. But I don't mean to allow others, for you to allow others to take advantage of you. No. Like I said in the aforementioned, in the introduction, about us transforming. This is a very transformative time from the past to the future. Okay? So that's what I got to say to you guys. Okay? And y'all take care. I'm sorry. I just realized I was fixing to leave something out that I didn't mean and did not want to leave out. On the 29th, I want to say on the 29th, the moon comes into that conjunction with Jupiter. And you can see here on the screen, you can see where it's at 11 degrees and this is at 11 degrees. Okay? Oops, I got to get a little bit thicker. Okay. You can see where Jupiter is at 11 degrees and moon and Jupiter is 11 degrees. But remember, the moon is exalted. And as the evening goes, that energy, emotions can heighten. And Venus is still not in the place where you feel, I don't know if it's that you can't give it, you oppose to what the other person needs emotionally, and their energies can be so intense. But your ruler is Mars, and the other person may really be very intent on something here, because the energies combine, and it can, do not let things get combative, is I guess what I'm trying to say here. The other person could become very resentful, because 11 is like, don't let things get into disorder. Don't let things kind of disintegrate here, because it could happen. And things can begin to start, you might feel like things are falling apart. Because what somebody else can't accept, maybe something that's changed with you, they can't understand it. But give them time to process it. Okay? And you may have to step back a little bit, because this can get really, really intense. And it can create chaos. And don't get judgmental. You want things, after transformations that are occurring later on, and when Pluto gets into Aquarius, and it comes back for a short period next year, back into Capricorn, and it'll come in at 29 degrees and stay. Don't get too judgmental on this, because something here, you may be able to remove whatever from your memories of the trauma that you've been through. You can come to terms with something here and let that go from your memories, and say, okay, I can deal with this of the past. All right? I meant to bring this up, and I didn't really want to leave this out, but I see that this is with 11 here and 11 here. those are not good numbers. Some people might say they are, okay? But remember, 11, as far as the tarot goes, it an 8 deals with strength, and there is, like I said, there is going to be a new beginning happen here. Maybe the other person wants a new beginning. Maybe they're trying really, really hard to focus on getting this new beginning and making things better. And you may resist it. Maybe you're wanting the change really bad, or something about you has completely changed. You're not the same anymore. And you're going to have to somehow get them to understand that. And it may be difficult on their side. Okay? So anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't want to leave this out. It was real important. I didn't want to tell it to everybody else and leave you out. Okay? So there you go. Okay, Aries, let's also go into now the tarot part of the energy for the day for you guys. You're showing up with the moon here, which is Pisces energy. Kind of looks like the eclipse, doesn't it? I don't know. When I looked at that, I was like, I kind of got this feeling of what's going to fall apart next. There is this thing with something here with Pisces. Maybe the two of you are trying to get together to communicate, and there's difficulty in the communication because you never know what's going to come up or what's going to be instigated here. So I would say with Pisces, especially for the other person being in that Scorpio energy, they want fair and balance or something here, or they want justice here in some way. Just remember, vengeance is the Lord's, not yours. Okay? But the goals here with Neptune, because this Neptune, the moon here, gosh, my throat is so dry. It's driving me crazy. This speaks of the sign of Pisces, and it is the 12th house. So like I said, remember, there's an opportunity of something here of either a loss or a gain emotionally. And it may be somewhat traumatic. And remember, go back to the beginning of the video and look what I said about Saturn and the sun, because there's a trine there. And these energies being combined with Mars and Mercury. And then the conjunction with the moon being exalted, and it's going to come in on the 29th. So just don't let things get out of hand here during the eclipse itself. We do have, like I said, the World card here. That's Capricorn energy, okay? And that is Saturn energy. We got the sign Pisces. We have Saturn, the planet. We also have the Emperor, which speaks of you, Aries. Don't try to control everything. You can only, like I said with the introduction, you can only have that transformation of yourself, of what you're going through, and control you. Don't try to control someone else. This can be with a father, or it can be with a husband. It can be with a boss. Something here that is very major. And we've got Mars. You've got 4 major arcanas here. So this is a big transformation for you. That the tower here can be something where, and we have the towers here, so something here is falling apart, maybe for the other person, not necessarily you, but the relationship. Just don't let things get too out of hand. Like I said, if the other person gets too agitated, too frustrated, and can't see how you feel and what you're trying to do here, don't set yourself up to face more trauma in the future with this. Because remember, when the moon comes around and it begins the new moon, you will see something maybe a little bit, or feel something a little bit different. You may be able to see that other person's side. Maybe even telling them, I don't agree with you right now, but maybe in time I can see where you're coming from. We have here where there's two, a court card and an action card. There's something here that this is Virgo energy, and that's where Venus is at, in Virgo. You may be trying to help someone. You may be trying to be of service, but don't forget about you. Don't, you can't please all the people all the time. You can only do so much, and that's it. And this being Mars's energy, you got Saturn. You got Mars here. And you got the signs of Pisces and Aries, your sign. There could be some difficulty here. But the world is that of the limitations. Remember, go back and look at what I said about those. Look at what the energies are. With Saturn, the energy is it's ruling the day, but it has the energy of only one. You can only do so much at a time. Okay? And if you can't finish it, or you can't do it or resolve it, there's always later to go back to this. And this, I look at the kings as mutable signs, because personally on myself, I know a lot of people would look at that as Scorpio, of course. But I see more of the kings I look at as mutable, because in order to become a king and wear a crown, a person has to have the compassion and empathy for another and be able to adapt to the environment or the situation to some way. Doesn't mean you have to give up your values. Doesn't mean you have to do this or do that. But there's something in you that possibly needs to be changed from the past, that you can be more just and fair. And show that, hey, I can be fair in something here. But I also need you to be fair as well. And I look at all kings as mutable. Maybe the goal is not reachable or attainable, because Neptune is that sign, or that planet, or Pisces being that of, since that is dealing with Pisces, can very well be with Neptune, is where your spiritual vision, your creativity, imagination, your psychic ability, leading you beyond materiality. Glamour and illusions can be and are negative. And you got to reach for your highest idealism. Okay? You can do this. I'm positive if you work on it, work on yourself. Because that quincunx, or that inconjunct, as you can see there between Venus and Chiron, you face some trauma here. You're going through something. The universe has been making this transformation in your life, and it's finally time to just let some things go. You can't control everything. Giving it to the universe and saying, Lord, I can't deal with this anymore. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. Help me release whatever this trauma is that is not healthy for me. Maybe there's some values there that you might have to reconsider in you. But it doesn't mean you have to be the other person. You can look at their opinion or their ideals and let it illuminate to you, or don't let it get frustrating. Okay? You can take a loss and turn it into a gain, but it depends on you and how you confront this. I did get for your moon, I did want to pull up the moon, and I got you also a wisdom card here. The wisdom card is about happy, happy. You just want to be happy. And I love the number 26 because I look at numbers a lot different than other people. I look at them in a biblical way. And in this, there is the star there. So you're trying to reach something here, that highest point of idealism, a goal that you're trying to reach. And it would make you so happy. And with 26 being the number, it's finally releasing something here. And it's about God's name. I cannot express as much as what I feel when I say, when I released everything. When I gave everything to God, everything. Said, Lord, it's yours. What will be, will be. I'll have to survive it, and I will have to adapt to it, to the change. And for your moon energies, what I got here, two cards came out. You got the blue moon. And that unexpected, this reminds me of Uranus. You're trying to do something here. When Uranus, in its energy, is where you want victory and success at something. Something about you, overcoming something in you that was not healthy, or a healing. And the only way you're going to feel that healing is releasing and surrendering. And we've got the lunar god, releasing the emotions, releasing something here of control. And that was the most miraculous thing for me, is not trying to control everything. That when I was able to surrender everything, materialistically, emotionally, everything, even my abilities to see things. And when I let it go, it changed my life. It changed everything about me. That I don't have to control everything. Let it be God's will. And it was His will. And boy, did my life turn around. In a big, big way. And so with you having happy, happy, once you do something here unexpected, that is not normal, it's a blue moon, once in a lifetime, or once in an opportunity here to call out and say, Lord, it's yours. I let it go. I release it. I'm going to just adapt and survive the best I know how. And I'm going to put all the effort I can into what I'm going through during this difficult time, during this transformation. Okay? So that's what I've got for you. Now, another thing I forgot to add in here. I'll take these and put them at the bottom here, because I did forget something with the outcomes here. Look at there. 3 of Cups. This is like the harvest, the reaping of the harvest. Everything's good. And it looks like this happy, happy card, doesn't it? The happiest time of your life when you surrender and let it go. Everything you fear, everything you're afraid of, that I can't reach this, or I can't reach that, or I can't do this. I'm going through so much trauma. This is happening to me. Sudden change is taking place. Yeah. This tower to me would be that sudden change happening spiritually. Embrace it. You can't do everything. You can't control everything. Only yourself. And for the Earth, or for the World card, Saturn and Mars here, there may be some sort of something you feel missing, but it's going to be replaced by something else. You may miss these good to happy vibes. Now remember, as I know myself, even when I surrendered, I still felt later on like something was missing here. And you may feel that, and that's okay. But you're never alone. You're never alone. All you have to do is call out. And your outcome here between here, the Emperor, Aries, you, and Pisces, we've got that Five of Wands. This is something that you can change. You have the power over yourself and the authority of yourself not to let yourself get involved in some chaos. Remember I said on the 29th, things were going to get really intense? You don't have to participate in this. You can change everything by not being a part of something here. This is Leo energy. This is Cancer energy. It's what you feel. If it's fun, if it's something you would enjoy doing, then partake in it. But don't try to control the games or the fun. Just enjoy the moment. Adapt to what's going on because the cup's being offered here. It says just enjoy the moment. But don't get involved in the chaos. Don't become a part of it. If there's dissension among others, remove yourself from it. It's that simple. You don't have to partake in it. You have the power and the authority and the control over you. And loving yourself to not be involved in chaos and what's going on when it's not good is to remove yourself from it. But if it's fun and it's pleasurable, don't try to control it. Just enjoy the moment. Okay? Because I see, with the wisdom is just to be happy. Stay happy. Because there's going to be that unexpected blue moon for you. Okay? All right. Now I am finished. All right. Y'all take care, Aries. I'll see you the next time.